What up, guys? Welcome to the SoundCentric podcast. Music lives here. I'm Samuel Sarfo.
I'm Adam Dash.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a lot to talk about today, from Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime performance to the recent acquisition of music catalogs, and lastly, Billboard's release of their top 10 greatest rappers of all time. And you better wait till the very end because we're going to share our top 10 list as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and tell a friend, and also go ahead and check the website as well. There's a lot of informative and interesting content on there as well. And then before we start, we just wanted to share our condolences with Trugoy, who passed away this week. Hip-hop legend, has contributed so much to the culture, and we need to push his legacy forward. Of course, it's important to share our flowers with people all the time. De La Soul's catalog will be on streaming and DSPs in March. So once that drops, make sure to hit that play button and get it cranking. If you haven't heard 3 Feet High and Rising from 1989, hip-hop staple and classic album, go check that out. Again, rest in peace to Trugoy, and let's get it. Adam, my guy, I feel bad for you, man. I see that hat on you. I know you're salty. This guy was literally in Philadelphia. At least the good thing is you guys didn't destroy the city this time. But what is your playlist title and leading single?
Pain. The playlist title is Pain. And the song is Song Cry by Jay-Z.
Jesus, bro, you're down bad.
I'm in my bag. I went home to Philly. I was at a bar. Very awesome experience. I just really wanted to flip a car and climb a pole. I thought it was going to happen, but I mean, at least we lost to the GOAT. We didn't lose to Nick Foles like the Patriots did.
Fair enough.
Shout out Nick Foles. But yeah, it sucked. It really sucked. It was a really sad train ride home back to New Jersey.
Yeah, you said train ride? But this guy was down bad.
But I had a rep to show that we're still here and we have the best QB in the NFC, top 4 QB in the NFL. So we're chilling. I've lost 3 major games this year. Philly's in the World Series, Ohio State semifinals, and now the Philadelphia Eagles and the 76ers will bring me more pain shortly. Excited for that. I'm excited
it's like
for
that sometimes.
I'm excited for what Philly sports has for me next in store. But how about you? I'm sure you're a little bit better than me.
I'm much better than you. Mine's gonna be a little bit interesting, but I'm gonna name my playlist title "The Hobbit," and the song is going to be I'm gonna do "Bitch Give Me My Money," Rihanna. One, I'm watching Lord of the Rings. I'm mad behind, I know, guys, but I'm catching up on all the 3 main series. They're all up on Netflix. I'm catching up on that.
Oh, are they?
Rihanna. Yep, they're on. So if you haven't seen it, go check that out.
I've seen The Hobbit, but I've never seen the original.
I'm watching the original, The Lord of the Rings. And then Rihanna, I mean, I watched that with my mom. I apologize to Adam because I really didn't watch the game. I only watched the second quarter right before the halftime show. And after the halftime show, I went to bed. I'm a Packers fan, so I really don't care about the Eagles or the Chiefs at all. But Rihanna killed it. I saw some people even trying to hate on her a little bit, like, oh, this was kind of underwhelming or whatever. And that annoys me too, because it's like, you're just a bum laying on your couch. I want you to see if you can do what she can do while being pregnant. Okay, so low down the hate.
I think the pregnancy was a major part of her not maybe moving as much around. I think I was looking up with my friends. I'm like, is she pregnant? Like, it looks like she's pregnant. I was confused. So I had to go to Twitter, make sure people are also seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing performance. She has so many bangers. My friends who don't love music looked at me and they're like, damn, she's got a lot of hits. I'm like, yeah, that's why she's doing the Super Bowl show alone. It's hard to do that.
And that was one of my favorite things because people were speculating, oh, well, Jay-Z might show up as a feature, maybe Eminem as well. But I'm really happy she did it alone so she can really show the world. And obviously people know this, but she may be one of the greatest, I don't even know how to call it, but just performers or just I don't know, but just in that entertainment space, because she has hits on hits with all the songs she played. Right, these are the songs she did not play. Right, she didn't play "Needed Me," "Loyalty," "Love on the Brain," "Take Care," "Too Good," "Sex with Me," "This Is What You Came For," "Kiss It Better," "Stay," "The Monster," "Love the Way You Lie," "Desperado," "Disturbia," "Don't Stop the Music," "S&M," "What's My Name," and "Ponder Replay. I'm gonna give her all the flowers, bro. It's crazy.
It's wild, but if you're gonna do "Run This Town," that umbrella right after it, you might as well bring out Jay-Z.
Did you see? Do you know what was awkward? And I want your take on this. The fact when she played "All the Lights," I was crying, bro, because I'm like, I know Kanye is mad salty.
Yeah, I don't know why she would still perform that over her own songs if she's not gonna bring out the person.
Yeah,
like I love "Run This Town," but if you're not gonna bring out Jay-Z, you probably could have done like "Disturbia."
I'm happy. She just did the chorus and that's fire. Are you mad at all that she did? I saw some people are like, I can't believe she did all the lights. That is offensive.
No,
And
I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, she didn't bring him
yeah.
out, but I think she could have brought out Hove. He was there with Blue.
I'm happy. I'm happy she didn't. Low key. This is about Rihanna, bro. It's Rihanna's time to shine, and
Yeah, I
she
guess,
should
but
show
even like
her.
when
Yeah.
Beyonce performed, Beyonce had to perform with Bruno Mars and
Man,
Coldplay. She wasn't even the main act.
I'm tired of your stand activity, bro. Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that. Jay-Z needs to chill on the sidelines, okay? He had his whole 4-minute goddamn verse on the Grammys.
Just don't do Run This. Is Run This Town? That's a Jay-Z song, right?
Technically, it is a. Ooh, that's a good question.
It's not a,
I don't even
I don't think
remember.
it's a Kanye song, and I don't think it's a her song.
No, it's Jay-Z from Blueprint 3.
Yeah.
Wow, that one took me a while back.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're going to do Run This Town immediately into Umbrella, it just seems like they were going to bring out Jay-Z.
Ugh, whatever, man. All I hear is just a Jay-Z stand.
But it was great.
Watch guys in the top 10. I bet you Jay-Z's going to be somewhere and he's going to.
It was, but it was a great performance. Shout out Rihanna.
It was a great performance. Another thing we've been seeing is acquisition of music catalogs. So clearly there's been a trend of more selling of catalogs, especially with streaming. And also when COVID hit, everyone was cooped inside. Everyone was listening to music. First, the big one was in late January with Dr. Dre selling to Universal Music Group and Shamrock Holdings all of his royalties for $200 million. Then later on a little bit, Justin Bieber sold his whole entire everything he owns, 100% stake to Hypnosis for $200 million as well, which is the most for someone around his age. And now we have big news that the Michael Jackson estate will be selling about 50% of their publishing away, which is pretty crazy. And it seems like a lot of artists are not selling their publishing. I know how important it is, not only for independent artists, but just in general, music artists to own their masters, own their rights, etc. And now we're seeing a lot of people sell. So what's your opinion on that?
I think the thought process is that they don't know what's going to happen in the music industry and what's going to happen in the world. So especially for the older artists, I can't speak on this for Justin Bieber, but like, yeah, get your money when you can. If you're an artist who's over the age of 60, like, yeah, get your $750 million. It's a lot of money up front versus potential money. Like, yeah, I get it. And I know we've had this discussion with the integrity of it. Like, it's your music, but you're giving away your publishing for it. I don't think it gives away all of it. It just lets these companies like Hypnosis, however it's pronounced, they can like just book it for commercials and use it for movies and kind of utilize your catalog better than we're currently utilizing your catalog, because maybe most artists don't know what to do with their stuff. Maybe their management doesn't. But it's interesting. I mean, Michael Jackson's family got in the bag.
They got a big family, and obviously,
I think the Michael Jackson family has the rights to the Beatles music.
Yeah.
The Beatles catalog.
So that story is crazy. So basically what happened was they were recording a music video and Paul McCartney basically gave him the idea of investing into other people's music catalogs. Later down the line, the Beatles were having a lot of trouble with their legality situation. And finally they had the opportunity to buy and purchase back their catalog. At the last minute, Michael Jackson swooped in and took it from Paul McCartney. That absolutely destroyed their relationship. There's also another story with Michael Jackson purchasing Eminem's catalog because Eminem made the Just Lose It video, made fun of his hair burning. And Michael Jackson is crazy, bro. He's like, give me that catalog, fam. So it's insane. And obviously it is lucrative. And obviously you can possibly, if you're a big enough artist, get enough money down front. But the problem is, one, you're not getting the money that is being used for these commercials and whatever they're using it for. And they can use it in whatever way. And there's definitely going to be a time where they're going to put it in something that you don't personally agree with. And that might tick you off. And honestly, me personally, I'm really prideful in terms of like my art and stuff like that. And I care about ownership sometimes. But at the back of my mind, it's like, if I were to sign to a label, I mean, low key, maybe, who knows? I might do it the Russ way, you know?
Also, if you're Justin Bieber, how old is he? Like 26? Like he's not an
he's
old
mad
guy.
young. He's mad young.
So this can just be like the next chapter of his career. And it's not like he's not gonna have more hit songs. Same thing for Drake selling his catalog. That's true.
Yeah.
And Future selling his catalog. Like Future sold his catalog, then immediately had a #1 album. Like they're gonna keep making music and keep having money with it. I think the thought process is get the money you can get right now. Hey, when someone throwing $500 million, I can't imagine saying no to that. It's actually.
Don't you think you can just make that money from just owning it?
I guess not. I guess it's not instantly, 100%.
Obviously not instantly.
You might get that money over a 20-year period. But if you're Drake right now and you're living life and you're like a 35-year-old still like going to Bahamas and partying, hey, get your money.
I guess, man. Whatever. I don't know.
But to get into the fun debate of the day. Billboard released its top 50 rappers of all time. If I do say so myself, good list. It's really hard to make these lists. I texted Sam all day yesterday how much I despise making this list, but it's so hard to include objectivity and cultural impact and personal taste. And there's a a rule that's unspoken that you can't include people under the age of 36 in your top 10. Has to be just old guys. That's the rule. That's the rule I've been told. It's only guys in the 90s.
Think about it this way. Those people who are older have already begun and are going to end. A lot of these young guys still have that process of ending their careers, which we still need to see out before they can top the GOAT. That's, you know what I mean?
It's a fair point. And I think a lot of these rankings, a lot of it comes down to nostalgia. If you listen to an album for the first time in 9th grade, it's way different than hearing it for the first time, for me, say, at age 21. So, like, to give an example, loved Tribe Called Quest in high school so much. One of my favorite groups, if not my favorite of all time. If I listen to them for the first time now, I don't know if I would love the music as much as I did when I was getting really into like 90s hip hop in high school. Yeah. And it's like I've never seen Star Wars. So if you watch Star Wars when you're little, it's probably awesome. But now with all like the stuff we have today, I don't think Star Wars would hit for me at age 21 the same way it hit for someone at age 10.
That's a shame. You never seen Star Wars?
Never seen Star Wars.
Man, you're just adding on to my list of things that I'm not happy about you with. Yeah.
But just to name what their top 10 was, the only female in their top 10, Nicki Minaj, number 10, well-deserved. Snoop Dogg, number 9, potentially the most famous rapper of all time. I think every single person, their mother knows Snoop D-O-double-G. Drake, number 8, shout out to this generation. 7, his mentor, Lil Wayne, Weezy F Baby. Number 6, should have been way higher. I don't like this. Biggie. Number 5, Eminem.
Is there?
Number 4, Tupac Shakur. Number 3, Nas. Number 2, I kind of like this placement. Kendrick Lamar. Not mad at it. And number 1, H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy, Jay-Z, Hove. Yeah, I mean, we both kind of agree. It's a pretty good list. Like, you can't make a perfect top 10 that's going to please everyone. That was a pretty good top 10.
Yeah, honestly, I had no complaints with Billboard. It's kind of crazy. I'm not sure if you saw the video of Ice Cube. I think it was being asked by TMZ how he felt about it. And he's like, F Billboard, who cares what they think? Which is true. Who cares what they think, you know what I mean, upon hip hop culture. But at the same time, I also felt like maybe him not being, I don't know. I feel like Ice Cube doesn't really care, but they didn't do bad. I mean, all these rappers are all one of the greats, so you can't really complain about it.
And also, and I don't mean this as any disrespect to Ice Cube, but like, say Ice Cube, I'm not sure if this was his point, that he should be in the top 10, but he's one of those rappers that maybe it's like culturally significant impact. He's so important.
You better be careful where you're going with this, my guy.
But there are certain rappers who are just better than Ice Cube. Maybe don't have the cultural impact, but they're better than a late 80s, early 90s rapper. Hip hop's seen an evolution. Also a point. It is way easier, I think, to make a classic album at the beginning of a genre's.
Hey, he's canceled. Yo, let's get out of here.
It is easier to make an experimental album that's a classic in the beginning of the history of a genre than it is today. Does that make sense? Like,
you want me to counter you real quick?
Yeah.
There's 2 ways to look at it. It's either you make an album currently when other sounds and music and ideas have already been laid out. It's difficult to come up with something new. Or you can create an album in the very beginning of hip hop where there's nothing at all. There's no ideas, no influence or anything. You're starting from scratch. Both are difficult in their rights, but you cannot say one is easier than the other.
I mean, the 90s isn't the beginning. It's about 17 years after the birth of hip hop. So I'm just saying these guys did benefit from being the first people to stop using like 1-syllable rhymes. And stop using those. We know those drum patterns from the 80s and the Run DMC songs. Like, they're all boom, 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 boom. They're not great. Compared to production in the 90s. So I think it's a little bit easier to make a classic album in like the teenage years of hip hop than it is today, because everything's kind of been done. Because there's guys who spit bars, like those Griselda boys, if they were put in the 90s, I think they would have made what we call a classic album, but they're doing it today and it's already been done so many times before them.
I don't know, Adam. I think
not saying that Griselda is at all my top 10.
Those guys made albums, right? Today still stand the test of time, and they had limited production, resources, etc.
Well,
The rappers now have everything at their disposal to make whatever they want. They have influence, they have impact, etc.
People heard you spit bars over some boom bap beats, and those were the classics in the 90s. And it's hard to make a boom bap classic now because it's the same thing that they did before. And now you're just doing it now.
Make something else. You can still make something else. That was
hard
the time.
because everything's been done.
Okay, would you have something be done or nothing at all? And you just have to come up with something and pull it out of your ass.
The 90s guys had people to look at. They had Rakim.
The 80s with
no. Not talking about I am not talking about 80s guys. I'm talking about people in the 90s.
But who do they have to look up to?
Rakim, LL Cool J, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Slick Rick. But
those are a handful of people, while people now have literally hundreds of rappers to look over to. That's like a handful of like 20 rappers compared to now where you have hundreds of rappers to look up to grab influence from and ideas from and construct your own idea from that.
My point is that I think someone like Conway is like just as good as maybe somebody who was in Wu-Tang, but Wu-Tang.
Bro. We're going to go back and forth with this one.
Let's just go into our top 10s. I'll go first, but Sam, predict my top 5.
Okay, well, obviously this man is a Jay-Z stan. Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that. You saw the way he was talking about Jay-Z beforehand. I know he's somewhere in the top 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he's number 1, unless he has Kendrick as number 1, which I think is a little bit too bold. For me, at least. I think a lot of people in hip hop. But definitely in his top 5, he has J. Cole, he has Kendrick, he has Jay-Z, he has Biggie, of course. And I don't know who the last person will be. This guy hates Tupac. He's a Tupac hater, y'all.
Don't expose me. You'll see the rankings.
Oh man, but I think that's what I know for now. But I'm really gonna guess. I'm not sure who gonna have for the next 5 to complete your 10.
All right. Well, first for people I left out. And then Sam saw me. I kept texting. I wrote, shit, I forgot Lil Wayne was a person. Shit, I forgot Nas was a person.
Crazy.
So this list went through a lot of additions. People I could not include. This first one, all right, we'll go first for this is one of my personal favorite rappers of all time and of this generation. I think he has 3 classic albums. I think everyone agrees he has 1 classic album at least. Freddie Gibbs. Not in my top 10. I love him.
This is his personal taste. Got 3.
I think Alfredo and Bandana are. If you don't, that's fine. People agree. I think the general hip hop public agrees Pinata is a classic album of the 2010s. Black Thought. I really tried to have him in there. I really did. The Roots, most legendary band in hip hop history.
Yep.
He has the best freestyle in hip hop history. He's probably the best like lyrical rapper, like literal, just like bar for bar. Any day, like you can go with a handful of people, but on any given verse, he can be the best.
Yep.
In my opinion, the best female rapper, and she's Lauryn Hill. She just doesn't have. The Fugees, the score, important album for me. Miseducation to Lauryn Hill, one of the greatest rap albums of all time. She just when we talk about longevity, she just hasn't made music in 20 years.
Yeah.
And this is the big one, and I have an excuse because I felt like if I included him, I had to include the other guy, and I couldn't include both in my top 10.
Biggie and Pac? Biggie? I'm going to say Biggie? I'd be surprised.
Andre 3000 is not in my top 10.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, cool. Okay, I thought you were going to react hard to that.
No. Again, he doesn't have a solo, bro.
Bro, I was scared. It was hard to not include 3 Stacks because he's so good. And then to get into what the criteria is for this top 10, personal taste has to be a part of it. This is also, it's not an objective list completely, and I can't just include rappers who I don't listen to.
Yeah.
It has to be people who I love too. What did we say? They have to have classics, cultural impact, longevity.
Yep.
Then we talk about writing skill, like storytelling, punchlines, and voice, just having a good hip hop voice.
Yep.
And we'll go beat. I think beat choice is really important too.
Yeah.
Some guys on this list do not have good beat choice, in my opinion, but they're so good at rapping. Covers up. Okay. Number 10.
All right.
Drum roll, please. The highest selling artist of our generation of all time, besides Eminem, Drizzy Drake, number 10.
Okay. All right.
He's got the classics. He's the most popular artist of our generation. He's done it for over a decade.
Yep.
Number 9. I might change this list around.
Why don't you say them all one time through and then talk about why you had each one? Therefore, unless you want to have all the suspense for each person.
I want the suspense. I'm just debating these 2 people.
Okay.
This is a big personal taste one.
Okay.
You know what?
It's fine. It goes back and forth. It's okay.
I can't lie to myself. Number 9 is Nas.
All right. Okay.
Illmatic. debatably, probably the best rap album of all time.
Yep.
But as Sam stated, I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Yeah.
And per the legend, what did he say? One was a classic. Two, what's the line he says on Takeover?
One was Illmatic, the other was what is? I know on
and that's
Takeover.
A hot album. One hot album every 10-year average.
Yeah.
In this list, we were not going to roast any of these artists because they are top 10 rappers, and not being number one is not a slight. Nas is a goat, and he's still doing it, and at a very high level with Hit Boy. Yeah. He's won a Grammy, his first Grammy, so long after he deserved it. Shout out Nas.
Yep.
Number 8. This is what I just switched these two because I had Nas at 8. Yeah. It's my favorite rapper of all time. It's Jermaine.
Okay. Cole. At number 8. That's fine. Okay.
I think he is the best hip hop voice of all time. He has at least one classic in 2014, Forest Hill Drive.
Yep.
Some people say it's not, but let's be honest, he's been the top 3 rapper for over a decade, and that was the album that I think solidified him as that. And that album has inspired many MCs, such as myself, to rap the exact same way and rap on J. Cole type beats.
Yeah.
He's my GOAT, so I got him at 8.
Yep.
Number 7. You know, I'm not a big West Coast beat fan.
Say his name, bro. Put some respect on the boy's name.
Tupac Shakur comes in at number 7. For this, Sam knows this. I'm not a fan. I am just not a heavy listener of Tupac, but cultural significance is the top 3 undebatable biggest in hip hop history.
Yeah.
I do know songs by him, and they're amazing and very poetic. Sometimes his voice and beat choice aren't exactly for me. But I remember someone when I was like 13 showed me Gangster's Paradise. No, not Gangster's Paradise. What song? It's an acoustic song with Tupac. Is it Gangster's? Thugs Mansion.
Thugs Mansion.
That was the first real Tupac song I heard, and that's my favorite song by Tupac. Love it. I just couldn't put him higher than this just because I'd be lying about my personal taste. He's just not that for me.
There's one thing for me. I need the people to know what your professor said about Tupac.
My professor, who's a very integral part of hip hop, he produced on the Black Star album. His mentors, DJ Jazzy Jeff. This man's established. He told me before Tupac died, he was not widely regarded as a top rapper.
Shame.
He was very confident in that. And it makes sense that when someone dies, it immortalizes their music. But he said that he was confused when people called him a top rapper after that. And he's like, what? I never heard people refer to him as that. I don't know. We weren't alive for then. I don't know if people looked at him as like this guy who raps and acts. Yeah. Because he was an actor too. I don't know. But I'll pay my respects to him.
According to the receipts, he was, and also as a asterisk sign so people know, his professor is an East Coaster. So he might be a hater for the West Coast. Who knows?
I'm an East Coast lover. That's the type of writing style and beat choice I like. I was listening to All Eyes on Me, right? All Eyes. Yesterday. Just some of the beats, just like I know when a beat perks my ears up right away. I was listening to Volume 2 yesterday, as Sam knows, and I did not like the beats on that album.
Yeah,
did not do it for me. But to come in at number 6, a guy with also really bad beat choice, but he's been doing this since he was 14. And he's literally the age of the person he mentored.
Wow.
Lil Wayne, Weezy F Baby.
Wow.
He was the greatest rapper of all time for like a period in like 2006 to 2010, and probably the craziest mixtape run of all time. I personally don't love his beat choice, so it's hard to listen to his albums in the Bling era, kind of like Carter 3. But for people who are born around this time, this is their favorite rapper of all time.
Yeah.
So, and he's just so good at fucking rapping.
I'm surprised, actually, because I was going to ask you this too. Who do you think is greater, J. Cole or Lil Wayne? Me and my friends go back to back with this debate.
I would choose J. Cole every day, but I had to include the longevity of Wayne and the current cultural significance around him, that he did find Nicki Minaj, who some would say is the best female rapper and one of the best rappers of all time, and Drake, and help make their careers. He's so many hits. His features all delivered, and so did Cole's. Yeah, I would take Cole, but like for now, we'll go Wayne.
Okay.
Number 5, the highest selling rap artist of all time, Sam's GOAT. Let's predict. Shady. Eminem. Okay. Number 4.
Damn, no description for my boy M.
I don't know how much more I have to say. I mean,
I'm joking.
There's I think, and we've discussed this yesterday, when an artist is around for so long, they're going to have bad albums. Lil Wayne is a testament to that. He's like a rock and roll album that's awful. And I don't know, he just has a lot of bad beats that he chooses. So yeah, Wayne also has very bad albums. If you're around long enough, you're going to fuck up.
Yeah.
And hopefully I don't see Cole or Kendrick fuck up. But Drake has fucked up.
Yeah.
But number 4 is a guy who is not fucked up yet.
Yeah.
And he continues to lead our generation in true hip hop. Kendrick Lamar, Compton Zone. Yeah, every album's fucking perfect. And he's amazing. And I still prefer J. Cole for my own personal taste. But even my friends who don't like this real hip hop stuff, they love Kendrick Lamar. And they'll listen to this guy rap on no drums. And they won't listen to a Griselda song, but they'll listen to Kendrick Lamar do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. Number 3. I think he's the greatest artist of our generation by so much. He has never literally made a bad album. Every album, bro, he might have like the most classics of all time of any rap artist. Probably does. And best producer of all time, possibly.
Too bad he's a clown now.
Too bad he doesn't like the religion that I follow. It's hard saying this, but Mr. West, Kanye West, coming in at number 3. He probably has the most classics of all time.
Him and Jay. And
I think
Tribe.
I think he is more than Trey. I mean, more than Jay.
We'll get into that.
Rapping style, love Ye. I think I love his funny raps. He's kind of like Ludacris, the way his style. He's like funny and animated. And yeah, he's changed hip hop more than any artist ever has. He's probably the most influence of any artist ever in hip hop.
Yeah.
Number 2, the guy who this is the only, longevity is the only thing that stops him from this. But I think he's literally the best rapper of all time at like just rapping. Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
I think he's just like, I just think he's the best rapper. He's storytelling, flow, bars, beat choice. Although Life After Death maybe has a little bit worse beat choice. That first album, man, I don't think anyone's rapped better than that before.
100%.
And number 1,
obviously,
throw your diamonds up.
Illuminati.
Jay-Z. He's the first artist past the age of 45 to deliver a classic album to show that hip hop, you can be older and still make a classic album of 444. He has 3 of the probably top 10 hip hop albums of all time, with Reasonable Doubt, possibly the best first album ever. Then The Blueprint and the Black album, his retirement album before he came back wearing the 4 or 5 like Jordan. Then we're talking about cultural influence. He showed people, I mean, he has so many different stages of his career, showed how to be a hustler in the first part of his career. Sadly, he had to be around for the bling era.
Yeah.
After, which was a result of Biggie and Tupac dying. They wanted to stop rapping about all this beef and they started rapping about their money. And he's definitely transformed a bunch of times. He has a lot of bad albums. He has an album with R. Kelly. I'm sure he would like to take that back. He has an album called Death of Autotune. It was a little bit hard. A little bit of an old head thing to do with that. But dude, he's just so good at rapping. And he found Rihanna and Kanye West. And that's cultural impact. And I don't think rappers try to rap like Jay-Z, but they try to talk like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I wish they could sell water to a whale like this man does. So
no,
that is
your list. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at it at all. It's a solid list. Even just jumping on my honors mentions, like again, J. Cole, you're talking about he has at least one classic. Not just at least, he has one classic. And when he dropped 2014, and again, people still argue to this day whether it's a classic or not. And that's because when it dropped, it wasn't a classic. 2014 wasn't a classic until time passed and people appreciated it as Cole was becoming bigger and better. Because literally, he dropped it in what, December or January?
He dropped. I don't remember when he dropped it.
It was December.
No features.
No promo. Right?
That didn't. No promo. No singles. No features.
Yep.
I think he self-produced every single song on the album. And I think it was like the first time in like 20 years or something when he did that with no features going platinum. It's a whole joke. But yeah, he's a Friday Night Lights classic mixtape if you want to throw that in as a classic.
For sure. But and guess like, what?
I love every album.
Guess what? After that, a couple months later, Kendrick dropped Pimp a Butterfly, and that was the end of it. Right? But over time, it was appreciated. And 2014 is an incredible album, one of my favorite projects of all time. But Cole, I did not include in this list. I do want to see how his career ends. And the biggest factor for me is he needs to drop an album better than 2014 For Also Drive. I know that's such a hater thing to say almost because it's like, who am I to say that? But for me to really put him anywhere near the top 10 list.
Right,
I
but
need to hear album superior.
We're gonna go into that album with this expectation, and like it can't live up to that because that's so high. And in relation to the Kendrick dropped the greatest political album after that, and I think it's way easier for a political album to appear as a classic than it is to write an album about what he wrote about, which is like people clown Cole for it, but it's like everyday life stuff, which is why people can relate to him. But it's way easier to make a classic about politics if you execute it well.
Yeah, this is true. Lil Wayne, again, one of the greatest of all time to do it, huge influence, but again, he didn't fit through. Some more of my honors mentions were Big Daddy Kane, Mos Def, Ghostface Killah.
Mos Def was
Andre
also
3000, Mos Def, Andre 3000. Again, I need that solo project. I know you've done great things, and he is a GOAT, but that solo project is very important.
Also,
Ice Cube.
I forgot to include Q-Tip. Not purely, I know this is the greatest rappers, and it's not purely his rapping ability, but we can't say that Tribe Called Quest has 4 classic albums. You know what? They're also another group who proves that age 45 plus, you can make a really fucking good album.
Yeah.
With I forget what it's called. Thank You for Your Service. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And
passing away
he's one of the best
John.
producers of all time. So
fair enough. I said Ice Cube, Jadakiss, Pharoah Monch, who's one of the greatest rappers of all time. It's just that he just didn't get the mainstream exposure, which limited him from being in my top 10 list. Cool G Rap, Goated Man, Prodigy from Mobb Deep, KRS-One, Scarface, and the one you like to drop memes about, my boy LL Cool J, legendary. And then also 50 Cent, T.I., and Drake. Cool, right?
Yeah.
That's when they get those honest mentions out.
Now let me predict your top 5.
Go ahead and predict it.
All right, number 1 is Eminem. Number 2 is Tupac Shakur. Number 3 is Jay-Z. Number 4 is... Wait, I had to change this because you didn't include... It's Nas. And number 5 is Kendrick.
Okay. All right. Man, this guy thinks I'm a crazy M stan, which I am. Eminem is my favorite rapper of all time. But let me tell you this. It's very hard to put... Eminem is easily one of the greatest rappers of all time. I know this might rub some people in some way, but it's hard to put someone who is white in a black culture as number 1. It just is what it is. But Eminem is my favorite artist of all time, and to me is one of the best rappers of all time. But I'm going to go and say all my list from 10 to 1. Now I'm going to explain why from each reasoning. All right. Number 10, Kendrick Lamar. And this 10th spot was a debate between Andre 3000 and Kendrick. But again, Kendrick, dude, the fact he's doing it by himself and coming up with these ideas, I'm sorry, Andre. It has to be Kendrick. Number 9, Black Thought. Number 8, Rakim. Number 7, Big L. Number 6, Big Pun. Number 5, Tupac. Number 4, Eminem. And these two could have swapped, but I gave the nudge to Eminem because I think his impact is just as great, and also his lyrical ability is off the charts. Number 3, Biggie. Number 2, Nas. And number 1, Jay-Z, because I just feel like I have to. I mean, it's inevitable. He said, throw the rock. It's inevitable. It's inevitable at this point. Again, the reason why Kendrick was number 10 is, yes, Kendrick has proven to be one of the greatest rappers of all time, but I just need to see how his career finishes out before I can throw him better than Biggie and Pac. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like what you're saying, the old head conundrum, where it's like you can't get rid of or you can't let go of the greats. You won't allow new school to come in and take that over. But it's so hard for me to even speak that out loud, to say Kendrick Lamar is better than Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac and Jay-Z. It's crazy to say. So I guess need more time. It's
like, on the other hand, like Tupac and Biggie, not due to their own fault. It sucks. They didn't have time to make a bad album.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't around for that. And the same thing goes for Big L and Big Pun on your list. That's why I probably put Kendrick above them. Although they're amazing rappers. Like Big L, like bar for bar, and Big Pun.
Yep.
Could beat anyone. But like, who knows what they would have done 5 years into their career.
I know logistically you would have to put Kendrick above these guys, but I know, again, their deaths they happened premature and they couldn't really express themselves to their fullest capability. But man, if you've seen the video of like DMX, Big L, Big Pun, Cannabis, all sitting in the room with Pac, freestyling the craziest rhymes you've ever heard. If you heard the projects they were able to drop while they were alive, the freestyles, the singles, the features, these guys were ahead of their time. And it's just a shame that they weren't able to express that. Jay-Z being number 1, I just feel like he is the epitome and he's the story of hip hop, to start from the streets to allegedly selling that pack across the street, and then also creating his own business, to becoming a billionaire, to dropping class. He is the story of hip hop. He is what hip hop represents, of people starting from the streets and making it all the way up. To Nas. Nas is just, come on, he's brilliant. He's the one who really put hip hop on another standard when dropping Illmatic and then coming in with It Was Written at such a young age and such a huge wave for East Coast rap. And then 3, Biggie. Again, Biggie, like you said, is one of the best rappers to ever. Honestly, he could be number 1, but again, because he passed away early and Jay-Z has done so much, he has to go ahead.
You know that freestyle with him and Tupac when like they're sitting next to each other?
Biggie and Pac, when they were like, friends at that time. Yeah, it's a shame. It really
that
is.
That Biggie freestyle, I think it's off the dome, because usually I can tell when something's off the dome. You can tell when something's pre-written. It's off. I think it's off the dome, and he can't stop. He
can't stop. Biggie is for sure one of the greatest, and his impact transcends time. Even back when he was freestyling on the streets, when he was working like a 9-to-5 job before he became who he was. I think you're surprised. Are you surprised about Eminem, where I put him? He honestly could have gone lower.
But I think your reasoning makes so much sense. Like, he's a white man in this genre, and there are, like, Jay-Z is the archetype of a hip-hop artist. And, it made complete sense.
Yeah, and it's tough. And again,
wasn't a personal list. I know your personal list would be number 1. Mine would be J. Cole, but there's some objectivity that has to go into it.
And honestly, for me, he can be anywhere in this top 10 list, because I see a lot of people complain when M is in top 5, and it's like, bro, like, there's so many great rappers out there. M doesn't have to be on this list. I know that you don't like, again, you kind of like Pac, whatever, but Pac, you need to listen to Me Against the World, Machiavelli the Don, and also All Eyes on Me again, because he is just, his words, man. Of course, he's not the most lyrical, but his words and his poetry is incredible. Again, with Big Pun and Big L, those are two of the best rappers I've ever heard to even speak, along with Black Thought. Lyrically, it's just insane. And I'll go as far as to say that when it comes to hip hop, right, obviously everyone is a rapper, and then you can throw in rap artists as well. Like, when I think of who's the best rap artist of all time, I look at Drake and Kanye and 50 Cent as well, as the 3 people leading the pack, and maybe Andre 3000 and Outkast, right? They make the best music, the most popular hits, whatever. But then you also have people in rap who are true lyricists, bar for bar, verse for verse.
That's like the Black Thoughts,
right? That's where it's like the Black Thoughts, the Eminems, the Big L's, the Big Buns, the Mos Defs, the Ghostface Kills. I'm talking about bar for bar. And crazy enough, I know that Jay-Z obviously can spit, like, no, obviously, but I don't include him in that top tier lyrical list. It's the same thing when I said to you when I sent you Evil Twin by Eminem. Jay ain't rapping like this. You know what I mean? If you look through 444, it's of course incredible music, incredible rapping, incredible writing, but it isn't the most complex technical things. You know?
It's more like poetic rapping.
Yeah, exactly. I guess kind of like Pac almost.
Yeah, just not in the same like tone. The tone of Pac. Pac kind of raps like a ghost.
Yeah, but that's my top 10 list, dude. And are you surprised at all in any way?
Nah, that was a very good list. I mean, I was surprised by Big Pun and Big L, because they are great, but I'm like, it's kind of hard to put them in there.
Just I'm gonna send you some tracks from them, and you're gonna hear them.
I know the two Big L albums. Like, don't you worry. Ask Beavis, I Get Nothing But Head.
Yeah,
what a line. Yeah, and someone who was also, no one would ever consider this person the top rapper of all time. I'm just giving him a shout out because Big L was his favorite rapper, and we were discussing this. This man also only has like 1 bad album in his short lifetime, and made a lot of good albums. Mac Miller.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, man. Mac, rest in peace, man. That still hurts me to this day, man.
Impact. If we're talking Impact, he produced all of Vince Staples' first album. He helped birth people like Earl Sweatshirt. Was bringing people like Thundercat, Chance the Rapper, Action Bronson, JID on tour. This man was so important to 2010s hip hop. And talking evolution like Kanye West, I don't think many artists have evolved like Mac Miller evolved with each album.
100%. And of course, he was starting with, again, Nick, you were talking about earlier with the frat rap, and then coming into like, again, just different genres, adding in different elements, working with Thundercat, etc. But this list, literally, it can go anywhere.
Yeah, if this was a personal list, Mac Miller would be like 3 for me.
Where'd you put J. Cole again?
I put him at number 8.
Number 8, okay. At least I feel like you did good.
I was trying to be as objective as possible.
Because if Cole was top 5, bro, that would have been again, I love J. Cole. I don't even want to sound like a hater because J. Cole's my man, but top 5?
Yeah, no, I couldn't. When we're talking about greatest all around, I can't do it, but I'm confident in saying he's the best hip hop voice of all time.
Okay.
Because like Jay-Z and Biggie have like straight like raw vocals, but some people don't like the deep ass voice of Biggie and might not like Jay can't sing. Yeah, like Hove's got that soul in his voice that I think he can rap, he can sing.
He can.
I think he's the best voice.
He is, and that's why he's on our number one and why he's on everyone else's number one. But you guys let us know what you guys think, who's in your top 10 list. Obviously, this is a heated argument. You saw me and Adam, man, going back and forth. I think a lot of stuff he was saying about making classes early was whack. But y'all let us know in the comments below. And if you made it to the end, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's all we got to say for today. So I guess we'll see you on the flip side, man. We'll see you.
Don't flame us, please.
Don't flame. You mean don't flame Adam? Oh, your whack takes, bro. I'll see you guys later, man. Peace.